Atlas Reporting for Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Atlas Table Style Reporting, Lesson 3 of 6. Table reporting functions are used when you want to present lists, summaries, or cross-tabulated information from your business systems. These functions use the Microsoft Office table object as the presentation container, and as such, will inherit and respect the formatting capabilities it has to offer. You can combine these functions with other Atlas functions to build sophisticated reports. Table reports can be refreshed dynamically, assuming that one or more of the report's filters is linked to the contents of a cell, or they can be refreshed from the Atlas ribbon bar on demand. Summary and matrix style functions offer drill down capabilities by default. List style reports do not, unless a specific drill down source is included in the context information. Table reporting functions also make use of the Manage Column feature. This allows you to incorporate other Atlas or Excel functions into the report. When the report is refreshed, then these calculated columns, including their contents, are treated as if they were a part of the table report definition itself. List. The list function is used to return a non-aggregated series of records from a data source into a Microsoft Office table. The table will be formatted according to the defaults you set in your Microsoft Office installation. Once the table is generated, you can adjust the format and other options to suit. When the report is refreshed, these adjusted settings are remembered and applied to the regenerated list. You can link the main data source for the list report with other associated data sources so that the resulting table contains information from multiple sources. For example, by linking the customer table to the customer transaction table, you can include the customer's name with the transaction detail. List reports can be grouped into sections with totals per section and overall. List reports can include user-defined, calculated columns. These act as placeholders in which you can put an Atlas calculation or another cell function. These cell functions can be a Microsoft Excel standard function or a free format Atlas function. When the list report is refreshed, these placeholders are respected and their contents managed according to whether the list expands or contracts. The number of records returned can be restricted, a feature that allows you to show the last 5 or the first 10 records, for example. List reports can be refreshed from the Atlas ribbon bar or can be refreshed when a cell that provides input to the list function changes. For example, if a list function is linked to a lookup function, the information represented within will change when the lookup value changes. Summary. The summary function is used to return an aggregated series of records from a data source into a Microsoft Office table. The table will be formatted according to the defaults you set in your Microsoft Office installation. Once the table is generated, you can adjust the format and other options to suit. When the report is refreshed, these adjusted settings are remembered and applied to the regenerated summary. You can link the main data source for the summary report with other associated data sources so that the resulting table contains information from multiple sources. For example, by linking the customer's table to the customer's transaction table, you can include the customer's name with the summarized balances. Summary reports can be grouped into sections with total per section and overall. Summary reports can include user-defined calculated columns. These act as placeholders in which you can put another cell function. These cell functions can be a Microsoft Excel standard function or a free format Atlas function. When the summary report is refreshed, these placeholders are respected and their contents managed according to whether the summary expands or contracts. For example, if your summary report shows customer balances, you also include a column formula to return the credit limit so that you can assess whether or not they are above or below their credit limit. Summary reports can be refreshed from the Atlas ribbon bar or can be refreshed when the cell that provides the input to the summary function changes. The matrix function is similar in nature to the summary function described above. It is used to return aggregated records from a data source into a Microsoft Office table with the results then tabulated based upon a selected column. The table will be formatted according to the defaults you set in your Microsoft Office installation. Once the table is generated, you can adjust the format and other options to suit. When the report is refreshed, these adjusted settings are remembered and applied to the regenerated matrix. You can link the main data source for your matrix report with other associated data sources so that the resulting table contains information from multiple sources. For example, by linking the customer table to the customer transaction table, you can include the customer's name with the transaction detail. Matrix reports can be grouped into sections with total per section and overall. Matrix reports can also include user-defined calculated columns. These act as placeholders in which you can put another cell function. These cell functions can be a Microsoft Excel standard function or a free format Atlas function. When the matrix report is refreshed, these placeholders are respected and their contents managed according to whether the list expands or contracts. Matrix reports can be refreshed from the Atlas ribbon bar or can be refreshed when a cell that provides input to the matrix function changes. For example, again, if the matrix function is linked to a lookup function, the data represented within can be refreshed upon the change of the lookup. Objectives. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to understand how to build a basic list, summary, or matrix report, the application and use of the 3 table style reports, how to apply formatting and style, refresh options available to the table reporting functions, how you can combine the table report functions with other functions to build a sophisticated report, how to include columns from another or related table, how to edit the report using your style options. The scenario. You've been asked to deliver a report that shows the total revenue last year and the current sales revenue to date for all open sales accounts. The report also needs to be filtered by account relationship type so that it only contains accounts that are of a customer or reseller in nature. Management has also requested that the name of the staff member who manages the account to be included. The report must also include the account name and the account number. In this chapter, we will build the report and edit the fields using the style functionality. The filters will be applied in lessons soon to follow. To begin, open your Atlas Dynamics CRM Intro to Reporting workbook and go to the Atlas 6.1 Dynamics CRM Report tab. Click to select cell E11 and then click on the Atlas 6.1 tab of the Excel menu, opening the Atlas ribbon. From within the ribbon's inspector group, click on New. Select List from the table options and then click Next. Double click to select your data source, which is your CRM 2015. From your suggested table list, select the Accounts table. If the Accounts table is not listed among your suggested tables, use the search function to find the Accounts table. Once located, close the field search by clicking the X located at the end of the text input field. From the field list displayed, select the account name and the account number fields by placing a tick in the corresponding boxes. Then type revenue into the search area above. Tick to select adding both the annual revenue base and the open revenue base fields. In the search text field, replace the word revenue with the word open. Tick to select the open deals field. Now, within the search area, replace the word open with the word relationship, looking for the relationship type field. Select the relationship type field by placing a tick in the corresponding box, then close the search by clicking on the X located at the end of the search area. From within the Accounts working plane, midway down and next to the Fields List check, click the plus icon opening the Add Fields Property window. Click to select All Relations. In the search area, enter the word Owner. Then click on the 3 dot icon to select the Owner _ Accounts table. Locate and select the owner's name field, and then place a tick in the corresponding box, selecting that field. Click on the Back button located next to the table name, clicking once, taking you back to the primary accounts table, and then click See All Relations. Again, in the search area, now enter the word Contact. Click the 3 dot icon to select the Account _ Primary _ or Contact table. Enter the full name into the search area. Once located, choose to select by placing a tick in the corresponding box, adding that field name to your report. Close the Add Fields plane by clicking the X located in the top right-hand corner of the working plane, and then click Next, and then click Insert. This should embed your report. Close the Atlas pane, and now your report should display quite neatly. Okay, Now the report's ready to apply some style and data field changes. Through the use of the Style Inspector, change the order in which the fields are displayed in the report and add some table column counts and totals. To begin, click to select cell E11. This informs Atlas that this is the table or the report that we wish to work on. Then click on the Atlas 6.1 tab from the Excel menu. From within the Atlas ribbon, select Style from the Inspector group. Adjust the order of the fields by selecting the Open Revenue base field and dragging that to the bottom of the list. Then, drag the Annual Revenue field, releasing it just above the Open Revenue field. Next, add to the report table a count of the accounts by first selecting the cog icon at the end of the account field name, opening the Account Properties window. From the drop-down menu located under the table options, select Count. Then close the Account Properties window by clicking on the X in the top right-hand corner. Next, add a sum for the open deals. As per the previous steps, click the cog located at the end of the Open Deals field. And from the Total Table Options drop-down, select Sum. Close the Open Deals property window. Add a sum to the table for both the Open and Annual Revenue base fields. To do so, click the cog, and this time select Sum from the drop-down menu. Use the page down key on your keyboard to cycle to the next field. Select Sum from the Table Options drop-down. Once selected, close the Open Revenue Properties window by clicking the X in the top right-hand corner. Now use the Data Inspector to make some name changes. Click on the Data button at the top of the Atlas Inspector. If the Atlas Inspector is closed, you can select data from the Inspector group from within the Atlas ribbon, reopening the Inspector. Right-click the Owner Name field and select Rename. Rename this field to read Account Manager. Then, right-click the Full Name field and rename this to read Primary Contact. And finally, click Update. Your report should now display a count of the account names, a sum of the open deals, and both a sum of the open revenue and annual revenue fields. Atlas Table Style Reporting, Lesson 3 of 6, Lesson Recap. Uses: the list function. Use the list function when you want to present a list of main table or transaction records. Use the output from a list as an input to a journal or table upload. Use in conjunction with other reporting functions as a component of another report. Present a ranked list of records, for example, to show the top 10 customers or the bottom 10 selling items. Uses to provide raw, unsummarized data to another function or system. Summary function. Use the summary function when you want to present a summary of records from a transaction record table. Provide a report that can be manipulated to form the basis of an upload. For example, a report to show hours booked last week by employee and project, which can be then adjusted to include this week's time ready for an upload into the hours journal. Use the report in conjunction with other summary reports as a building block for another report. The matrix function. Matrix reports are used when you want to tabulate a summary of records from a transaction record table by a particular column. Provide a report that can be manipulated to form the basis of an upload. For example, a report to show a forecast, which can then be adjusted to include actual figures and budgeted figures ready for an upload as a reforecast budget. Use the report in conjunction with another summary report as a building block for another report. Key points. This section introduced 3 main table reporting functions. These were list, summary, and matrix. Other lessons include Table reports use the Microsoft Office table object for presentation. Table reports include features that allow you to define custom or calculated columns. These columns act like placeholders and can contain other Atlas functions or Excel functions. Report titles can be adjusted to suit other labels and are resolved into the user's language at the time of refresh. All formatting work is carried out after the report is presented and is per the table tool's design options. This includes style selection, number formats, and alignment. Refresh is available on demand from the Atlas ribbon bar. Automatic refresh is available whenever the workbook is set to automatic calculation and a filter field drawn from the workbook is changed. Columns from a report can be sourced from the primary data source for the report or can be sourced from linked main tables, for example, customer transactions to the customer table. Numeric columns can be totaled, different operations can be performed, and these include a sum or a count. This brings us to the end of our lesson. Next lesson, 4 of 6, Snippets.